It makes a great first suspension mod or the complement to any set of lowering springs on a Mustang. We're going to be installing a front sway bar from Steeda on this 2024 Mustang GT. Here we have the Steeda 1 3/8 adjustable front sway bar fitting your 2015 to 2023 S550 Mustang and 2024 plus S650 Mustang. When it comes to the best first suspension mod for your S550 or S650 Mustangs, sway bars are an easy way to go. Whether or not you have springs on your radar doesn't really matter. You can get it before or after springs. They complement either way. But one of the really cool things about our adjustable bar is that it actually is adjustable and you could cater it towards your driving style. Even with a factory spring Mustang, you're going to want to eliminate some of the roll in that vehicle, and adding that front bar is a great way to handle that roll. In terms of adjustability, you have the stiffest hole towards the center of the bar all the way to your softest. One thing to note is if you're adding this 1 3/8 adjustable bar to your MagneRide equipped vehicle, that goes for 16 GT350s all the way up to 24 plus, you do not want to use that softest hole. That's because you may come in contact when the car is at full lock with the MagneRide wiring on the back of your strut. But that's okay, because MagneRide cars and their factory spring rates, as well as our MagneRide springs, we don't even recommend using that hole in the first place. You'll want to start at the second softest and work your way up, depending on your driving style and spring rate. But if you don't have MagneRide, that's okay too, because the tunability of this sway bar is what makes it fun. If the car starts to oversteer and the back end gets away from you, you need to add a little bit more bar up front. So what you can do is move that end link one hole stiffer on either side to add a little bit more roll stiffness to the front of the vehicle. That's going to allow the car to feel more neutral and get through that corner that much faster. One of my favorite features of our Steeda adjustable sway bars are the billet steel ends. Not only does that give you the adjustability that we talked about, but on factory bars and many other aftermarket bars out there, the ends are pressed or coined. And what that means is you lose the rigidity and the strength in the bar itself when those ends are pressed. But what we don't have sitting up here is a rear sway bar. That's because we have two different options when it comes to a rear sway bar to complement our 1 3/8 front bar. We have a street 1-inch adjustable bar with 3 adjustment holes in the rear, or a competition rear sway bar, both of which are adjustable but have different rates. Now, if you have factory springs on your Mustang or a set of Steeda springs that are a little bit more street oriented, basically not dual rates, you're going to want to go with the 1-inch adjustable street bar in the rear. The bar rate is a little bit stiffer to go well with the softer spring rates on those springs. However, if you're more track oriented, you have coilovers, our dual rate springs, MagneRide or regular, or the adjustable rear ride height kit, and again, your car is seeing a lot of track use. With higher rear spring rates, you're going to want to go with that 7/8 inch competition rear sway bar. And last but not least, we don't want to forget our dedicated drag racers out there. We have a 1-inch solid rear bar for the drag racers. That is for mostly high horsepower dedicated drag cars. It has a lot of bar stiffness built in to keep that car tracking straight all the way down the drag strip. As with many of our Steeda manufactured parts made right here in our Valdosta, Georgia manufacturing facility, this comes with a limited lifetime warranty. What that means is if you have any issues with the part whatsoever, please don't hesitate to reach out to our customer service staff, because we'll be happy to help you. In terms of the installation, let's get it kicked off. Here are the tools required for installation. First, we'll start by removing the intake tubes. There's a hose and an electrical connector on each side that need to be removed. Then a 10mm bolt holding the tube to the airbox. Pull off the airbox lids. Loosen the clamps holding the tube to the throttle body. And you should be able to twist the intake tube off. The front bolt on the driver's side sway bar bracket should be accessible from under the hood with a long extension. The passenger side is a bit tighter, but you should be able to reach both bolts. Then we'll get the car in the air and remove the front wheels. We can access the sway bar end link by turning the wheel. Get 2 wrenches on each side of the sway bar and remove the nut. You may need to turn the strut to get the end link out. On the driver's side, we can remove that last bolt holding the bracket in as well as the end link. You want to pull the sway bar out via the driver's side and pulling it out towards the rear. To get a better idea of how it goes out, you can see our Steeda sway bar going in from the driver's side. It goes in the same way the factory one was removed. Use the included grease to grease the inside of the sway bar bushings. Then place them around the sway bar on the inside of the bushing stops with a flat side facing down. And the bracket can go on top. The bolts for the bracket can go back in. Get all 4 in by hand before tightening. These bolts are famous for being cross-threaded from the factory, so be very careful and thread them in by hand. Get the sway bar end link into place on the Steeda sway bar. The softest hole, which is furthest from the center of the bar all the way towards the rear of the vehicle, cannot be used on MagneRide cars. So we do recommend using the second softest hole or the second stiffest hole, one of those 2 center ones. Then tighten the end link studs to 85 foot-pounds. A zip tie can secure the MagneRide wiring out of the way of the end link. You can route it underneath the strut. Back up top, we can tighten the sway bar brackets to 40 foot-pounds. Reinstall the air intakes and your installation's complete. Typically, if you're looking to add a sway bar to your S650 Mustang, we do recommend adding the front sway bar first, but in this case, we already had the MagneRide Sport Springs installed, along with the rear sway bar. The front sway bar obviously brings the whole package together. Installation really isn't too bad as long as you take your time. If you're familiar with how they install on the S650 Mustangs, it is a very similar installation. Just make sure you pull it out from the driver's side and you'll be ready to roll. But aside from that, this will add a lot of confidence to overall steering feel and turn in when you're out on track or carving some corners and back roads. If there are any other videos you want to see on the S650 Mustang, please comment below and let us know. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe, that notification bell, and don't forget the most important thing, speed matters.